Research has shown that around half the adults make New Year's resolutions, and around 46% of them still report success after 6 months. However, after 1 year, this number drops drastically to under 10%. So why is that? In this video, I'll be talking about why resolutions fail and what you could do to stop failing in New Year's resolutions. The key to making resolutions stick lies in the formation of habits. Whether you are looking to exercise more, lose weight, or saving more money. You may or may not realize that the majority of our lives are governed by habits. Studies have shown that habits form up to a half of all of our daily actions. Have you realized that most of your morning routines are incredibly similar, whether it be wake up, brush teeth, have a shower, eat breakfast, go to work, or wake up, check your phone, have a coffee, etc., etc. The most important point in habit building is that small consistent changes build massive results in the long term. Think of habits as the currency for building compound interest for long-term success. Warren Buffett famously said that compound interest is the ninth wonder of the world. We often underestimate the significance of small changes over time, but by focusing on habit building, we can reap massive results over the long term. It is a common misconception to expect a linear progression from the actions that we take. In reality, there usually is a long period of disappointment where nothing seems to really happen, and then followed by a sudden significant breakthrough. Throughout your habit building process, there will inevitably be a long period of disappointment where nothing seems to be happening. And it is how we navigate through the period of disappointment that paves the way for success in the future. It is extremely important to set proper goals. But by far the biggest problem with focusing solely on goals is that both successful and unsuccessful people tend to have the same goals. Both people that are successful and unsuccessful want to have lots of money, good health, and lots of free time. By focusing only on goals, we are ignoring the fact that many people never accomplish their goals. We only see the rich and successful on TV and social media, and we never hear any stories of people failing. This is also known as the survivorship bias, where only successful stories are ever shown. Therefore, we should focus on the system that leads us to those goals, because most people don't reach the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their system. To start building a habit, we need to understand that there are 3 significant layers to the process. So there are the outcome, the processes, and the identity. Examples of an outcome may include exercising more, losing weight, or saving more money. The process for those particular outcomes may include going to the gym, having a diet, or saving every week. The identity, on the other hand, relates to the type of person that exhibits those outcomes. So we need to become the type of person that embodies the habit. The goal is not to just exercise, but to become an active individual. And the goal is not to lose weight, but become a more healthy person. And the goal is not just to save money, but to become a frugal person. So how do we actually create an identity? Identities are created through repetition and positive reinforcement. The more that you repeat a certain behavior of the desired identity, the more it reinforces that identity. The more that you exercise because you perceive yourself as an active person, the more you become an active person, because doing exercise is what an active individual would do. Habits that you actively do become a self-reinforcing loop for your identity. It is best to start with small and easily achievable goals when trying to create a new habit, instead of trying to get everything done perfectly. One of the great pitfalls is the idea that if we can't do things perfectly, we might as well not even bother trying. The other problem with putting too much effort in the beginning is that the initial enthusiasm for starting something new tends to fade over time, while small consistent habits gets reinforced over time and creates long-lasting results over the long term. Let's look at the 4 key points of creating a new habit. So number 1 is be specific. When trying to implement a new habit, create specific implementation conditions so that there is no uncertainty. Studies have shown that people are far more likely to carry out an action the more detailed the circumstance of the action is. Instead of saying that you want to exercise more, say that you will exercise at 8 p.m. for 30 minutes. Instead of saying that you want to save more money, say that you will transfer $100 every week into a savings account. What's even more powerful is writing down your goals and have a tracking system to periodically check up on your progress to make sure that you are on the right track. The second key point is to focus on the environment. One of the most overlooked facts in habit formation is that the environment is more significant than individual motivation. Willpower is a finite resource, and the amount of motivation tends to rise and fall over time, while having a constant environment brings constant behavior. Researchers have done a study where they have participants resist eating a dessert placed in front of them to use up their willpower before getting them to do a difficult math problem. Now, the ones that didn't have to resist temptation spent more time working on the math problem because their willpower has not been used up. The most highly motivated individuals are people that place themselves in environments that allows them best to succeed, instead of solely relying on willpower. Therefore, habits tends to be easier to implement when you're in a new environment. Like when you move to a new place or go overseas, you want to create an environment that can maximize your desired habit. Number 3 is to keep it simple. So we know that new habits are formed based on repetition and not on time. The more that you repeat a particular habit, the more likely it will stick. In order to achieve that, we can try and make it as easy as possible to carry out the good habits and as difficult as possible to carry out the bad ones. If you are looking to exercise more, leave your gym clothes and shoes somewhere easily accessible so that you don't need to spend a lot of effort trying to find them. If you want to eat more healthy, make sure that you pre-cut the vegetables so that when you are hungry, you can cook them straight away. And number 4 is don't forget to reward yourself. So our brains work under the simple framework that what is rewarded is repeated and what is punished is avoided. Not only that, our brains are also heavily biased towards instant gratification. The main problem with that is that in today's society, bad habits usually provide immediate satisfaction, while good habits tends to provide delayed gratification. Early on in the habit formation process, it's often a good idea to provide some immediate satisfaction for good habits, while providing immediate punishments for bad habits. For example, after an exercise session, you can reward yourself by watching TV or playing games to provide some instant gratification. And over a long period of time, the feeling of being healthy and exercising should provide you with long-term satisfaction. Ideas in this video came from the books The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy and Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you are interested in learning about habit building, I would highly recommend picking up one or both of those books. I find habit building a really fascinating topic and something that can really help you improve yourself and change the way that you live.